I hate to be the one to break it to you, but sometimes dogs don't love us as much as we think they do. It might seem like they adore us, but the truth is, they might just be tolerating us. Want to know if that's the case with your dog? Then stick around because I'm going to share 10 clear signs that your dog might not be as attached to you as you thought. But don't stress too much. Recognizing these signs is the first step to building a better bond with your furry friend. After all, you can't fix something unless you know there's a problem, right? All right, let's dive into the signs. Number 1, they don't relax when you're around. Pay close attention to how your dog sleeps when you're nearby. It can tell you a lot about how comfortable they feel with you. Sleeping is a vulnerable time for any dog. If your pup feels safe and happy, they'll likely sleep on their side or even on their back, exposing their belly. That's a clear sign they trust their environment and the people in it. But if your dog stays rigid, avoids lying on their side, or keeps their belly hidden when you're around, they might feel uneasy or insecure. Sometimes, they'll even keep their head raised or their eyes wide open, ready to react. And here's an even more obvious clue. Number 2, they leave the room when you enter. If your dog often leaves the room when you come in, it might mean they're not feeling comfortable or safe around you. Just like we sometimes want to avoid people who make us uneasy, dogs have a natural instinct to create distance when they're uncomfortable. It's their way of saying, I need my space. But before you jump to conclusions, keep in mind that this behavior could also mean your dog is unwell or feeling under the weather. If this becomes a regular thing, it's a good idea to schedule a checkup with your vet. Now, let's move on to a more subtle sign. Number 3, they avoid eye contact. A dog's eyes can reveal so much. They can show love, curiosity, and even a little manipulation when they want something from you. But if your dog avoids looking you in the eyes and seems to back away every time you try, that's a pretty clear sign something's off in your relationship. Dogs often avoid eye contact to reduce tension and steer clear of potential conflicts. This behavior could mean your dog doesn't feel at ease or doesn't trust you enough yet. Understanding this is key because it's a signal that you need to work on how you interact with your furry companion. Number 4, they prefer someone else's company. It might be hard to accept, but sometimes dogs gravitate towards someone else in the household more than you. Just like people, dogs have their favorites. And if you're not at the top of the list, it's important to figure out why. If you notice your dog happily snuggling up to someone else, but shying away from you, it's time to reflect on how you're interacting with them. Are you respecting their boundaries? Are you petting them in a way they actually enjoy? Sometimes even small adjustments can make a big difference. Watch how others interact with your dog and take notes. There's a good chance you'll learn something useful. Number 5, they ignore your commands. Here's something critical to understand. Training a dog isn't just about teaching them commands. It's about building a bond based on trust and mutual respect. If your dog starts ignoring your instructions, it's worth considering why. A dog's willingness to obey comes from a strong, healthy relationship. When that bond weakens, you might see them acting indifferent or even outright ignoring you. This is especially common with rescue dogs still adjusting to their new surroundings. If that's your situation, focus on spending quality time together. It's amazing how much progress you can make just by being present and making your dog feel loved and secure. Gaining new insights? Make it official. Subscribe and like. It really helps us out, and you'll always be the first to catch our next videos. Number 6, they reject your treats. Dogs, by nature, almost never turn down a tasty snack, especially when it comes from someone they care about. So, if your dog is ignoring the treats you offer, it's time to figure out what's going on. This kind of behavior often happens at the vet's office. For instance, after a dog gets a shot, it's common for them to refuse treats from the vet. Why? Because they associate that person with discomfort or stress. Now, if your dog is refusing treats from you, the first thing you should do is check if they'll accept food from someone else. If they happily take treats from others but consistently reject yours, the issue might be with how they feel about you. However, be cautious. If your dog refuses treats no matter who's offering them, this could indicate a serious health issue, and it's time to make an urgent trip to the vet. Let's move on to the next sign, which can be surprisingly easy to overlook. Number 7, they don't want to sleep in your room. One of the clearest signs that you're your dog's favorite person is when they try to sleep in your room, or even better, right on your bed. Dogs, as descendants of wolves, naturally crave the companionship and protection of their pack. In today's world, you are their pack leader. So, if your dog doesn't even attempt to sleep in the same room as you, it's worth paying attention to the kind of relationship you have. Of course, every dog has their own personality, and some might be more independent. But in general, most dogs want to be near their owner at night because it makes them feel safe and secure. If this resonates with your situation, keep an eye out for other signs from this list. You might find that your relationship isn't as strong as you thought. And now, here's a pretty unusual sign to look out for. Number 8, they wag their tail to the left when you're around. You might not know this, but the direction your dog wags their tail can say a lot about how they feel. Let me break it down for you. If you notice your dog's tail tilts more to the left when you're nearby, it's a red flag. Studies have shown that this specific tail movement can indicate feelings of fear, anxiety, or distrust. This behavior is common in situations where dogs feel uncertain or when they're around someone who seems overly dominant or unfamiliar. On the flip side, if their tail wags to the right, it's a sign of happiness, affection, and calmness. Paying attention to subtle details like this can give you valuable insight into your dog's emotional state. And speaking of tails, number 9, they don't wag their tail when they see you. If your dog wagging their tail to the left is a bad sign, not wagging it at all when they see you is just as concerning. A dog's tail is like an emotional thermometer. A happy dog that loves you will wag their tail enthusiastically when you walk through the door. So, if your dog's tail stays still when they see you, it could mean something's wrong. A motionless tail might indicate that your dog is nervous, uncomfortable, or even scared in your presence. Let's move on to the final sign. It's one of the hardest to accept, but also one of the most telling. Number 10, they don't want you to touch them. Petting your dog isn't just a way to show affection. It's also a way to strengthen your bond and reduce stress for both of you. So if your dog consistently moves away or avoids your touch, it's a clear sign that something's not right in your relationship. As painful as this can be, don't take it personally. Instead, see it as an opportunity to improve your connection with your furry friend. When a dog avoids being touched, it often means they're feeling anxious or stressed. But don't worry, earning a dog's trust and love is often easier than it seems. The key is not to force the relationship. Give your dog the space they need and allow them to feel safe at their own pace. Stick to your normal routines and let things unfold naturally. Over time, you'll notice your dog starting to approach you more as they begin to feel comfortable. Be mindful of avoiding sudden movements or anything that might startle them. You can also create positive associations with your presence. Take them on fun walks or play with their favorite toy. And with that, we've covered all 10 signs that your dog might not love you as much as you thought. But remember, recognizing these signs is the first step to turning things around. Now, if you're as obsessed with your furry friend as I am with mine, stick around. There's another video waiting for you right here on the screen. Just tap on it to dive into more fun and heartwarming facts about your dog. Go ahead, your pup might even be curious to watch with you.